I don't know. There's so many places to go with this. I just feel like we need to start going by the
Let's
tracks.
go track by track, man.
But I feel like we've been here for about, what, 35, 40 minutes, and we've
Yeah,
gone.
and we got like 330 something people in here. Hit the like button, y'all, so we can get more people in here. We're gonna go track for track.
Yeah, let's.
United in grief.
Yes. So that's what I put. Like, this was the low end theory. So this is the first part where I realized it's like, well, for everybody calling him a genius, understand that he's genius because he pulls from other geniuses. So he pulls from the best parts of A Tribe Called Quest, the low end theory. He pulls from the best part of Outkast, AT Aliens, Aquemini. He pulls from the best part of Eminem as an MC, Kim. Like, he pulls from the best part rhetoric wise of MCs around the same age and time, i.e., Yeezus, Untitled by Nas, and Streets Disciple, which was referenced. You know,
I heard a
like,
lot of Yeezus and Mr. Morale, the song.
yes,
Yes.
yes. So when people are like, "Oh, he's a genius," it's like, well, not when I is he a genius? Well, kind of, but it's like not when I hear Yeezus and when I hear Streets Disciple and I hear Untitled and I hear ATLian and I hear the Low End Theory and then I'm looking at your track list and then it's like, well, you got rhetoric wise into some places Conway went on his album and you got a track with the Alchemist. Did you hear some of Conway's stuff? Well, I already see you sitting there with Pharrell and Pusha T. Did you hear some of? You
What
get what
else
I'm
was
saying?
so dope about We Cry Together? That shit sounds like a West Side Gun track. And I'm gonna
Bro,
be honest, guys. I still haven't even looked to see who produced everything. I think Alchemist produced that song.
Alchemist produced that sound. Soundwave produced most of the album. Like, most
Okay.
of the songs have three producers. I think Soundwave is the focal point. And here's another thing. One of the songs, it almost felt like there was a Griselda shot where he would do 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 do. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
listening.
He's
He's
of course he is.
listening.
He's a hip hop fan.
He's a hip hop fan.
Yeah.
He's listening. And so his genius. Oh no, he's sitting in the cut, pulling from everything and everybody and everything that he loves.
I didn't really like United in Grief like that. I see people in the chat saying it's fire. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5, honestly. And it's
That's
one of the
crazy.
lower ones that I gave on this.
That's what I gave it. I gave it a 3.5.
Especially when we talk about an intro, right? And maybe I'm weighing this heavy because, again, he was missing for 5 years. The intro is like, that's supposed to be the biggest build up and the strongest song. I don't want to get back on the Pusha T thing, but you know, when they reorganized the Pusha T album, they put the song that I thought should have been the intro on first. Did you see that?
What?
They put Let the Smoker Shine the Coop, the first song. And I sat here, yeah. And then they put Brambleton as basically the last Neptune song. But anyway, regardless, you got to start off strong.
They owe you and me a check now, is what you're telling me. That's all I heard when you said that. Wait till I see. Wait till I find out.
Could you remember that? I said that. I was like, I think Let the Smoker Shine the Coop should have been the intro.
It's not a game when I see, like, somebody from Apple, like, you're watching right now.
Probably. They're watching right now, I'm sure.
Wait, like, you just wait till I see you.
Yeah, so I didn't think United in Grief was a strong enough intro. And honestly, when I heard it, I was kind of nervous. Like, okay, well, this
me too. When I heard that, I grieve different when he did that, and I heard all the and also another thing that I thought about too was all the tap dancing going on, like at the end of Pray for Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that was like a cheap shot too, a little bit.
Well, Kendrick's competitive. He said that.
That's what I mean. He knows who's been like running it while he's been gone, and so there's like him doing his interpretations of like, oh, like you like when they do stuff like that. Like, let me show you how I do it.
In 95?
Because he's competitive and he's petty. He's both of those things.
Yeah. I just wish he was out there killing it on other people's shit like he said he was. Yeah. What did you rate United in Grief?
3.5.
3.5 out of 5? Okay. Yeah, all right, like in 95. At first, I had that at a 4 out of 5. I play that in the car and I'm riding to it, man. That's a 4.5 out of 5.
I still have it at a 4. I said he's snapping, but I don't love the start of it. I said, and then I went back to the first song. I said that first song is all over the place.
I like the innovative nature of N95, and I guess sonically, and I think that honestly, it's one of the few moments on this album where the track actually outshines him.
I'll give you that, but it's still a 4 out of 5 to me. But I also like noted the line where he put, "You worried about a critic? That ain't the protocol." I was like, "But you're obviously listening." All right.
Worldwide Steppers. I went 4.5 out of 5 on that one because I love the songwriting on that. I think it's one of the stronger songwriting moments. I think what it lacks is what you were saying before, that head nod factor and that ability to actually put all of those words into, let's just keep it real, on beat.
Right. This is what makes him so difficult to rate because, much like you, guess what? I rated this song a 4.5 too. But I also put, this is the problem. This song is a 4.5, but I'm probably not going to want to hear it tomorrow when I get in my car. And so the notes on here, you're talking about the songwriting. Well, the admission of writer's block for 2 years, nothing moved me. And when he says stuff, like he gets on like that, that Nas and Rakim level when he talks of pray to the flowers and the trees. So it like gets into that metaphysical level of lyricism. It's high level. Lupe does that well too.
Yeah. I love the I mean the content on this one was really heavy. I love the themes and how he was connecting the dots here. That last verse, I mean it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And I'm like you, man. I just wish it was in a form where we could hear it on a day to day.
So I wish he took some of Tupac's approach to songwriting and implemented that, since he's such a fan of Tupac. That's why I brought up All Eyes on Me. Because if he took some of Tupac's approach, because he's capable of taking other people's approaches and making it work for him. Well, if that's his idol, I wish he would take some of more of Tupac's approach to song making, because if he did, I think this album would have been a 5. Because what's missing is some of the hip hop approach to it. Because everything else about it is like, well, the production's not flawless on here, but it's dope.
Yeah.
It's good. And for what he's doing, it's like, well, what are you expecting beat wise for what he's doing from it? It kind of leaves you in a place as a producer where it's like, well, that's not where he's taking it. How can I give him beats for where he's not taking it? But even that within itself is convoluted to me. And that's what I mean about it just being rooted in hip hop fundamentals. It's like sometimes you just need a backseat freestyle or a Money Trees. You know,
but you know what? I'm not mad at him for not giving us that, though. Because
I'm not saying giving us that, but I'm saying there's nothing wrong with that. All Eyes on Me, Volume 1 and 2 is littered with that, and there's still the rhetoric and the creative genius there intact. There's still the beautiful songwriting there.
Shout out to Man Nanny with the super chat. He says, "Die Hard has Summer Smash hit written all over it." I like Die Hard too. And we're about to get to Die Hard. I got a 4 out of 5 with that one.
Same here.
And you know what? And I think it's one of the easier listening songs on the album. But I think he lyrically takes a back seat on this one. So if we want to talk about, song making and how that's put together, it's very high. It's kind of a constant theme here, right? Like on this album, the songs that sound like they are radio ready, he takes a back seat as a writer. But the songs that may not have that playability, he is like on super writer level. And y'all mentioned Lupe. Lupe shouted out the album and said it was brilliant. And this is Lupe Fiasco giving Kendrick Lamar a compliment.
Because it sounds like something Lupe would have made. But right. Of course
yeah, Die Hard, I gave that a 4 out of 5. What about you?
We're having similar sentiments actually outside of N95 because I gave this a 4 out of 5 too. Here are my notes. It has a different bounce. I put single and video right next to different bounce. I said it's groovy. I said it's groovy, but nowhere as original as the other 3 tracks. I said it's easier to digest, and I feel like this is intentional.
I think that's a single. I think Die Hard's a single. Obviously, N95's a single. I think that we need to see a video for Silent Hill. I have a theory that we're probably going to see visuals for just about everything.
Yes, I told you this is a play. We're about to get everything visualized. I said, here's where the singing and the scatting starts. I said, forget all these Baduisms, just call Erykah Badu. But it's easy to ride to, and all the patterns are simplified. I said, this song is going to end up being too simple for where I see this project going so far.
Okay. Father Time, I gave that a 5 out of 5.
I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. I don't love the beat, Mike. I actually think the beat's probably one of the weaker tracks on the album. but the subject matter is so poignant and important in times like these.
Okay. I'm not mad at that because I don't love the beat either, and it
Yeah,
affects the replayability of it all. Rich
it does.
Spirit, I gave that a 4 out of 5. I like that song.
I like Rich Spirit. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
Okay. I remember
Yeah.
you saying Friday that you liked Rich Spirit a lot.
I'd originally given it a 5 out of 5, and then I like went back on it a little bit and I took it down.
People said, "Can we talk about Kendrick, not M?" Y'all must be talking about Eminem in the chat. Um, okay. We Cry Together, I gave that a 5 out of 5.
I did too, but I said this is what's going to end up being wrong with this album. I said this is the best beat by far. I said it's great expression. I said, but I still feel like The Best I Can by Busta Rhymes and Rhapsody is a better song about the same subject matter. And then I went to the fact, well, how genius is this if I can hear the Kim and the domestic violence from RZA and Bobby Digital on here.
Yeah. But again, some of the things that you're saying, like, and I know the Busta Rhymes and Rhapsody record is newer, but a lot of Kendrick fans probably never even heard that record, right? And some of the other records that you're talking about are before a lot of Kendrick's fans' time. So something like this, and obviously Kim is Kim, I think it's going to stand out for different reasons, for better or for worse. But I think that this song and the way that it was done is new for a lot of people who were listening to this album.
Okay.
And it was done very well. I mean, can't knock that. I mean, it's 5 out of 5 for me.
No, so all of those things are true, and I'm still giving it a 5 out of 5, but let's stop canonizing it and acting like it was the first of its kind or he's some sort of genius that only thinks of this stuff when we can give listeners who are not familiar or acquainted with prior times stuff like Kim and domestic violence to contextualize. It's like,
go look it up. It's on YouTube. Y'all watching this on YouTube.
Has been covered. This subject matter got covered last year on ELE2 by Busta Rhymes and Rhapsody as well. So
I want to talk about Busta Rhymes too, man. When we start talking about top tens and and where people really contextualize somebody with his catalog and stuff, like where does he fall?
So hard to rate him.
And we want to talk about this versus thing too. It's About Time with the super chat says, the whole We Cry Together track was inspired by Janet Jackson and Tupac's argument off of Poetic Justice. All that FUB came from Pac. You know what? I never really thought about that.
I didn't either. That's
interesting.
That's fascinating.
I'm going to go back and look at that scene.
But once again, hold on. That's better creative license and writing than it is actual MCing. Nobody's taking those things away from him creatively, the genius things that he's expressing. I'm just saying it's
we got to talk about what this does for his overall MC rating because, being a writer is still a big, heavy part of being an MC.
No, he's in this conversation mostly about the writing and the album making.
You're right.
When we have other guys that do the album and the writing making and check other boxes that he doesn't check, how can he supersede them? Because his genius supersedes them. It's like, well, I don't know if necessarily being how about this? Like, Kyrie's the best ball handler we've ever seen. Is he a top 10 point guard all time? No. Steph Curry's the greatest shooter of all time. Is he the best point guard of all time? No. Just because you're genius at something doesn't mean you end up being number one on the list.
Jay Short with the super chat says, as Coop says, what's Kendrick Lamar's greatest hit material? We are 5 albums in, and I still don't see enough all-time songs that I would put him in the top 10. It's very interesting because if we sat there and say, you know what, top 50 hip-hop songs all time, how many Kendrick songs are in there?
Not one. If we're talking about that's what I mean. If we're talking about hits, it's not even a conversation. He's not even anywhere close. If we're talking about some of the just best hip-hop songs ever, he has a couple things that I believe deserve some mention, but I don't know what crack those as well. And he's somebody that makes it problematic for somebody like a Busta Rhymes because his catalog is clearly superior to Busta's. But even though Busta checks more boxes, but Busta's not the writer that he is, and Busta doesn't make albums like him. And so about those things, Kendrick's going to get held higher.
And Busta doesn't Busta doesn't take on topics, heavy content, and I would say it like this: in Busta's prime, he didn't take on heavy contextual concepts in his music, which is wild because off camera, he's one of the deepest people in hip hop.
One of the most insightful people that you hear speak.
And
yes.
I wish that he would have put that in some of his music during. I mean, he put that in like the themes, right? You see the theme in Disaster Strikes, in Anarchy, ELE. The themes were there, but he wasn't putting it in the music in a way like somebody like a Kendrick Lamar would. And so for a lot of people, the content heavy guys are gonna win that argument. That's why Scarface is so high on where he is.
Ridiculous. Well, but here's the thing: he checks a lot of hip hop voice boxes. The voice, the delivery, the content. You get what I'm saying? Like the type of subject matter that he's talking about, whether you like the subject matter or not. Like his talk to me isn't really even. I know he gets classified as a gangster rapper, but it's just more like real life project talk.
Yeah, reality talk.
Reality talk. Like, it's what's going on out here. It's like it can sound gangster to you. Well, it's gangster shit going on,
Purple Hearts, man. I got 4 out of 5.
I got 4 out of 5 too, but I told you.
I think that song could have been better, man. And again, maybe that's me being a Ghostface fan.
No, I'm the same way. I said Ghostface saved this song. It's a verse of the year contender. I said, but this song should be a 5. I said this is not doing the pairing justice, but it's groovy. 4 out of 5.
Count Me Out. 4 out of 5.
Count Me Out. Yeah, I gave that a 3.5 out of 5.
I'm not mad at that. I was on the fence, to be honest.
I didn't love it. Yeah, I didn't love it.
Crown, I gave that a 3 out of 5.
Now, this is where we're going to defer because I thought this was one of the records that was closest to a To Pimp a Butterfly record. I thought that originally it might be a 5, but I gave it a 4.5. So, like, what do you not like about it? Because I love the honesty on here.
I guess the lack of rhymes probably. I'll go listen to it again, I mean, I listen to Kendrick for the bars. The singing and stuff really is not my favorite.
Right. But you want to know it? This is where I love the name of it. How about this? I love the way that the song is called Crown, and it's actually probably his most vulnerable personal moment on the album. And he's literally saying, I can't please everybody.
More than Mama I Sober?
Huh?
More than Mama I Sober? In Mirror?
I mean, I'm talking about the MC, like the artist. That's what I'm saying. It's like I'm talking about like the guy that's in the all-time great conversation. Like that guy, I've never heard somebody MC wise like come to the table that's as great as he is, and it's just like nah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't for me.
Nas the GOAT says, Coop, is how much a dollar costs a top 50 hip-hop song?
That would be the one, like, if we're just talking about period all time, it would probably be in my top 50. It's just like, I don't know how it would resonate for everybody else. That would be the song I would go to, though.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I think Real, Money Trees, How Much a Dollar Costs are probably his best, like, all-time canonized songs.
In my personal opinion, and it's not my favorite song on Good Kid, Mad City, but it's close to it. I think Money Trees is probably his biggest cult classic.
Yes.
I think Money Trees is the Kendrick song that you put on anywhere for anybody who was there at that time, and everybody is rapping everything.
So can I tell you something? I just did my other podcast with my guy Andrew earlier today, and we compared Money Trees to You Can't Always Get What You Want from the Rolling Stones. And I talked about how the buy-in factor on Money Trees is so high. It's his buy-in factor song. A lot of it is because of that yabish, but a lot of it is because of the repetitive nature and the flow. It is because he's using the yabish to, catch you in.
It's the buy-in, yeah. And then that Halle Berry Hallelujah, it's a perfect record.
It's a perfect record. So yeah, I'm with you. Like on a personal level, How Much a Dollar Costs is his best song to me. But if we're talking about like top 50 all time, like Money Trees would probably be the closest one to that. If we're just talking about like period, all things considered, How Much a Dollar Costs, I would put Real right there
Interscope
with.
never drops the ball promotional wise, right? They normally get the best out of every situation. They drop the ball not having visuals, the money trees.
It's crazy.
Shout out to Saint with the super chat. The big time super chat. Good looking out. He says K Dot's genius depends on the team, not himself. Depends on his team,
Oh,
not
okay.
himself.
Okay.
I think he was the MVP when it comes to the writing here. Because again, I think the production, if that's the team you mean, he took the production took a back seat to him on this album, and I think that's one of the faults of this album too. Now, if you want to talk about To Pimp a Butterfly, that's clearly a team effort there musically, and how that came together. You don't think so? Like sonically, To Pimp a Butterfly sounds like a
Okay.
big collective of people coming together to make that effort. These walls, like these
I
songs
think
are big.
I think his vision is so. That's what I mean. His vision is so clear and concise on To Pimp a Butterfly, and listening to this album magnifies that for me because the difference between these two albums is the clearness and the conciseness of the records. The rhetoric is comparable and it's high level, but To Pimp a Butterfly, like you cannot tell me that. I don't know how somebody can listen to this album and not appreciate To Pimp a Butterfly more on a clearness level, on a conciseness level, and just on a hip hop level.
I mean,
Like
just
so,
songs, man. Just again, you don't even like You Ain't Got a Lie to Kick It, but that's just a dope song. Like it's a
right.
regular song. It's like I'm not trying to do too much. This is a dope beat, dope hook, boom.
Okay, so on To Pimp a Butterfly, that's not even one of my 5 favorite songs. It would be one of the 3 or 4 best songs on this album.
Yeah, if you remove that song from that album and put it on this album, yeah, it's a scene
Right.
stealer.
So,
Yeah.
so if people are saying that it's a classic, well, how is it a classic? Like when a song, like I can think of 5 songs that I prefer better than that, but they're better than, but that song is better than almost everything on here. And that's not to knock this album or still say it's not dope. What I'm saying is that it makes me appreciate what he truly accomplished on To Pimp a Butterfly even more now that this album has come out.
Did
Like,
you rate the songs from Damn? Because I know we were gonna do that in another show, but we didn't get to it because maybe time constraints or whatever. I
no,
mean,
I have my notes. I still have it rated.
maybe we could do that after this because since we're talking about
it. Yeah, and here's the thing about it. Even with the To Pimp, like man, it's like the stuff that's on there. The hip, at least he was trying to make it more. Like I look at a record like Complexion now,
it.
and I appreciate the hip hop aesthetic of him trying to check certain boxes with Complexion that maybe I didn't appreciate before. Because if I would have thought he was taking it here and pushing it this far, oh, that makes me look at a record like Complexion. It's like, oh no, this is him on some rap shit. You feel me?
No, definitely. Silent Hill, I got it out of 5 out of 5.
That's a 5 out of 5, but that's also like a straight Outcast jack. That's Wheels of Steel. I played Wheels of Steel for a 21-year-old that had never heard like ATLians at all, and they're like, that's the same melody, that's the same beat, that's the same vibe. I was like, yeah. She was like, he just took that whole vibe and that whole feel. I was like, yeah.
What Dre say?
She was like, I need to listen to ATLians. I was like, yeah.
What Dre say, the Pope and his folks got us under a scope, and for unknown reasons, because we don't sell dope that we distribute, we don't contribute to your clandestine activity. My soliloquy may be hard for some to swallow. She went behind my back like Pluto when he cut up olive oil. 2 things I hate: lies and thieves that make my blood crawl. Yo, man, Dre was so serious on ATLians. And you know what? For the people who like ATLians the most, I get it.
No.
Even though I think it's their 3rd best album, in my personal opinion. But as far as their approach, and as far as them being a duo, and as far as them being on some hip-hop shit, that's the Outkast album for you. That's the boom bap Outkast album.
So when he's going to push these niggas off me, like, I'm thinking, check out your wheels of steel. It's the same melody when he's going head up, chest out. That's Andre at the end. One time for my boys doing king shit.
I didn't get that. And I mean, I feel what you're saying, but hearing it, I didn't get that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, go back and listen. Like, he's an Outkast and an Andre fan. That's what I mean. He pulls from certain places on this album. He pulls from ATLians. He pulls from Aquemini. He pulls from the Low End Theory.
Yeah.
He does.
See niggas out me like,
Yeah.
Savior. I gave that 4 out of 5.
Me too. My first thing was I said it's a dope track. He's asking fair questions. I need to hear this in the car. I said it sounds like a 4.5 in the headphones. I need to hear it in the car. Heard it in the car. It's a 4.
Okay. Auntie's Diaries, I gave that a 5 out of 5.
You want to know what?
Probably his most brilliant writing. I would say, like I said, that one, Mother I Sober, excuse me, and We Cry Together is different. But yeah, I would say as far as like him just writing, Auntie's Diaries and Mother I Sober are on a whole nother page.
Yeah, that's a whole. I want to say something right quick about Savior though. Like this is what I mean. Like his most vulnerable moments are on Crown and on Savior, and he does such a good job of being paradoxical with the name of the song versus the rhetoric. Like on Savior, he's literally saying, "Bitch, are you happy for me? Smile in my face, but are you happy for me? I'm out the way, bitch. I'm out the way." Like he's saying, like I'm no longer concerned with what you're concerned with. Are you happy now that I don't even want to be your savior, or I don't want the crown anymore? And I was thinking, like he's almost talking to himself when he's saying Tupac's dead now. You got to think for yourself. I'm thinking, like, you talking to us, or you talking to yourself?
Yeah. No, I love once again. I love the concept.
Protecting my soul. That's where, like, no, I love the rhetoric. Protecting my soul. That's where I've been. But that's where I was like, no, but let me hear it in the car. That's what I'm talking about. All eyes on me. It's like, no.
So you don't think, not to interrupt you though, it's like during an era where we hear a lot about people not being lyrical and not coming from a perspective, which I think is overblown, obviously, because we cover this stuff from week to week. There's a lot of great music out. But on a mainstream level, I think that him doubling down and being super content heavy, I think is probably needed.
So, okay, it's needed, but that doesn't make the quality of the music improve just because it's needed. It's like we needed Ralph Ellison to write The Invisible Man, but The Invisible Man is great because it's great writing. His next book, the follow-up, well, not so much. You get what I'm saying? Just because you need something doesn't mean it ends up being a classic.
Yeah, to some people, I guess. DeCarlo says, is Kendrick passing the torch to Kodak? No, but I will say this. This is what he's doing. He's bridging gaps. And I think that's what that collaboration was more so about. When you're able to pull in an audience, because Kodak clearly has an audience. I think Kodak and NBA Youngboy, those guys got audiences that is so organic. Like their fans are real fans. It's none of this Jack Harlow stuff. Like nobody was out here trying to make people buy into these guys. These guys have real fans. I remember when Kodak, first was emerging, like right after that Double XL cover. I mean, people just gravitated to him. And there was a lot of people on that cover. Anderson .Paak's on that cover. Dave East is on that cover. 21 Savage. Lil Yachty. You could tell the machine was behind Lil Yachty. He was getting that kind of help. But people were just organically gravitating to Kodak for whatever reason. And I think that, this appearance on here and his appearance on this album shows that. Because once again, regardless if you like his rhyming or his ability or his approach, he has a perspective. And even Cardi's Bodak Yellow, that's him. It's one of the biggest songs of this era, and that's him.
What's the song of the year that year?
Man, as far as sales go, it's one of the biggest songs of the past 5 or really, she's still eating off of that. She's a superstar because of that record. Yeah. And obviously because of reality television, but again, you got to show and prove with the music, and that song was the one of hers that's actually everywhere, and that's Kodak. So he's done something.
Oh yeah, no, he's touched the nerve.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on like Auntie Diaries. I'm pretty certain you gave Auntie Diaries a 5 out of 5.
Like yeah, I gave that 5 out of 5. The writing is just too tough. It's some of the best writing I think and I'm not trying to gas it up. Some of the best writing I've ever heard.
So
because once again, he's connecting those dots just like on Worldwide Stepper. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna start here, going. It's a beginning, middle, end.
So I want to say this, because we've had a lot of conversations about literary devices.
Yes, we have. It's a literature class here on HLH Live.
No, that's fine. I'm with that type of smoke. I love it. I love it coming from this culture that we're talking about literary devices in a hip hop forum and contextualization. It's a beautiful thing. And shout out to everybody that contributes, because it's like y'all truly move us and keep us going and question us and push us. This song is one of the best written songs ever. Damn, some rap shit. All right.
I agree. I'm with you. From the he, she,
ever.
Yeah, the way he's positioning it, right? He's positioning the whole he, she,
right.
And he's framing it like, I'm a kid. You can't really get mad at me. I don't really, I don't know.
Right.
But mean, I know she's my auntie, but you know, she says it's a he, so it's like he's going back and forth with it. It's brilliant.
So I'm going to tell you that the true genius stroke in here, in my opinion, is that use of that F word when he's talking about his auntie as a child, but then when it switches over to his cousin as he becomes a grown man, and the way the song ends. Because I'll tell you what, I was thinking he might be the best hip hop song ender ever, because he's done this a few times now. But I think this ending might be his best ending ever. And
he pulled in a real situation. So he was able to actually...
But then he brought it back with the same rhetoric that he was using when the child with the ever F, 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 but only if you let a white girl call you nigger.
And it's like... And then that really happened. You remember when that happened on stage, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so he was able to address something that really happened and put it into this way. It's brilliant.
Yeah, forget hip hop writing. That's writing, period. Like you can't show me too many songs that have been written, period, better than that. And like the names attached to them are like Stevie Wonder, Billie Holiday, Bob Marley. You get what I'm saying?
There's melodies attached to them too.
All-time great melodies attached to
right.
As far as songwriting is concerned, like this song, writing-wise, reminds me of some of Stevie's best stuff, like 71 to 75, like not even songs in the key of life, like deep stuff Stevie used to write.
No,
like it really made you feel like he was like God was talking through him. Like this song's at that writing level.
Shout out to Mad Max with the super chat. He says, y'all shocked me with your rating. I thought the 5-year gap showed some of his flow throughout the project was bad. And I didn't think Auntie's Diary, I didn't like Auntie's Diaries like that. Felt very left-wing-ish. Album slightly above mid. I mean, you know what? And I will address that. It is very political. It was political. And even with that being said, he was able to write it in a way where it was real, whether it was real or not, whether his auntie really is going through that or not, even if he made this up. The way that he was able to write this and frame this from a child's perspective and then take it all the way into other scenarios, yes, it could have been very left-wing-ish, but it was still written very well.
Here's what I have to say as an independent who doesn't belong to the left wing or the right wing. So what? This is his genius moment on this album. For everybody that thinks he's brilliant or calls him a genius, you know how I've been saying all year about how I want to see some evidence. Oh, if you're calling him a genius as a writer and an MC today, you got some evidence, and this record is evidence.
Jay Short says, you think J. Cole makes any changes in his formula after this? I would hope not. Because it's one of those things.
Do what you do.
And this is what I will say, and we'll get back to Steph real quick. Don't try to outshoot Steph. It's just not a good game plan. Do what you do well. Try to clamp down on other formats of the game, but trying to outshoot Steph is not a good idea.
It's not. Let me give you an example. let me piggyback off that. Kevin Durant shot less threes with Golden State than he did with Oklahoma City and now with Brooklyn. You want to know why? Because he didn't need to. He's like, why do I need to try to shoot more threes than Steph? And that's why he had his most efficient seasons with Golden State, because he shot less threes. He's like, no, I'm just going to go here 12, 15, 18 feet and just bust you down. I can hit these all day.
Well, that was the plan. I mean, when you got Clay and Steph over here, you're going to get better shots.
Right. He's like, no, I'll just bust you down right here. 12, 15, 18, 12, 15, 18, bust you down. I don't need to go 21 feet.
Mr. Morale, I gave that a 3.5 out of 5. And it's interesting because a lot of people were ranting and raving over that record. But like I said, it's very Yeezus-ish. It damn near sounded just like something I heard off of Yeezus, so I wasn't really floored by it.
I wasn't floored by it either. I gave it a 3.5. I'm gonna tell you why. I said this point in the album is where I realized, well, he hasn't really come up with any new flows or styles. He's just using more voices and using the voices and the scat and the singing more. There's no new flows or styles from him. And so that's something that I'm going to kind of like point to, like on an MC level, just because we've seen guys older than him who release albums more frequently than him improve on certain parts of their games. And I didn't really hear any improvement on his game except for the writing. That doesn't necessarily speak to the overall emceeing. It just means your content's going to be better. I said Black Star isn't doing better with these black ass themes, but their album sounds better to me. It's a Run the Jewels type of track. And I said, it's too safe. I said, this is his safe, comfortable beat place where he wants to be, but it's not good for him.
I'm seeing in the chat that Auntie's Diaries is Grammy bait. It possibly is. If there's visuals for this song's gonna win everything, and he did it very well. And I will say this: we all know that the topic's out there, and I think that even me and Ronve spoke about this. Jay-Z attempted to do something similar to this on Smile on 444. It's not this. You know what I mean? It's just not.
But who's to say Smile didn't inspire this? That's what I mean.
Yeah. It could have. It's just next level.
No. It's next.
Other thing I saw in the chat was, what does J. Cole do great? Because we said don't try to outshoot Steph from the 3-point line. What would you say J. Cole does great? Where Kendrick puts together albums and writes.
No. You want to know what he's doing great right now that he just needs to keep on doing? First of all, his content and his rhetoric doesn't need to change because Cole is great at doing what Tupac and Nas are great at doing in terms of sprinkling in the knowledge. So he doesn't have to go full on like what Kendrick's just done. He doesn't have to do that because he's good at sprinkling and still doing the rap stuff. Kendrick's checking all those fundamental hip hop boxes right now. When you hear him on Johnny P's Caddy, it's like, well, if you're going to rap like this over Alchemist beats, I'm going to need you to stop making your beats for you to rap over and go get beats from Alchemist. You get what I'm saying? And so
I know Alchemist is the answer for everything, but J. Cole might need an Alchemist album.
No, do you hear him on Johnny P's Caddy?
I did.
Is that not checking all hip hop boxes and literary devices?
Not to get too nerdy, but yes.
At the same damn time, a la Future, is it not?
You know, I just want to see if I can bob my head to it and really, dig into the lyrical content and the lyrical didacticity of it.
How about this? If the beats on Forest Hill Drive are better, I'd put Forest Hills Drive probably ahead of Damn and To Pimp a Butterfly, because to me, he's right there, MC lyric-wise, and some of the content is there. It's the production and the way it was put together.
It is the production. And you know what? And I think that's the biggest difference between Cole and Kendrick. I mean, obviously, I think that we'll go through our MC scale because we're going to get these MC scales and ratings back up. It's just been so much music coming out, we had to cover it. But when it comes to just straight up lyricism, I got to give Kendrick the nod over Cole, right? When it comes to putting together...
Right now or overall?
Overall. When it comes to putting together albums,
I'm starting to feel differently about that.
Huh?
I'm starting to feel differently about that because when I listen to Kendrick lyrically, like Damn, yes. If you're talking lyrically, him on To Pimp a Butterfly or even Good Kid, Mad's... I don't know now. Like, have you been hearing the shit that Cole? Have you been hearing Cole rap the past year?
Oh no, he's killing it. But again, can we really be honest and say Cole could give us a lyrical performance like Auntie's Diaries?
I always go to his verse on "Pray on Jesus" piece, so I'm going to tell you yes.
I don't think he can do it, and again, I might be wrong. But
well, hold on.
Mother I sober, like.
Hold on, this is where I'm gonna turn on you because you and I echoed similar sentiments about Cole, and I told you that like I want him to win so bad because I'm from Charlotte and he's from the Nam. Even though like Apple Music and all these other providers be trying to put he was born in Germany, it's like we know he's born in Germany, but he's from the Nam.
Right.
You know, I want him to win so bad, but I've always been fair and objective. But I will tell you in full disclosure, I've never been more impressed with him as an MC.
No, me either.
I have been in the past 18 months. and it makes me feel like he's capable of all things.
Well, this next Cole album should be very interesting then.
Damn right. With Alchemist and freaking Dr. Dre and Primo, just everybody else doing the beats with him.
Listen. Dr. Dre's not doing anything for anybody. Come on now.
Go too far? Did I go too far? Okay.
Yeah. You think Dr. Dre's making any... You know what? The only rapper that Dr. Dre's gonna make an album for is Eminem.
I settle for like the RZA. Can we find a Dilla beat somewhere? Does he know Q-Tip? And feel me? Mad Lib. Hello.
Hey, get Kanye, and Kanye will bring everything together.
I was thinking Hit Boy. You know, hold on. What did Hit Boy do? Hit Boy did on Good Kid, Mad City. Hit Boy has production credits on Good Kid, Mad City.
What did Hit Boy do on Good Kid, Mad City? I know the people in the chat know. Mad Max with the super chat says, "LOL. I mean, Cole gave you Let Go My Hand." I love that record. That's in the ballpark of Mama I Sober and Auntie's Diaries. Cole gave you Lost Ones with him and the girl arguing about an abortion. We're not going to do that, Mike. Relax. Okay.
I told you he's done some...
That's fair. He brought the evidence.
No, he's capable. He's capable.
LP says, Cole fake deep. He can't touch the subjects that K-Dot do. Fake deep.
Backseat freestyle. Hit Boy did backseat freestyle.
Okay. Yeah. All right. You're right. I don't know why I thought somebody else did that. Backseat freestyle is hard.
So that's what I'm saying. No, that's right up Cole's alley too. Cole can get off on something like backseat freestyle. Call Hit Boy.
Somebody said Cole from a white neighborhood, Kendrick from the hood. Y'all wild.
You ain't never been to the Nom.
Mother I Sober, 5 out of 5.
Yeah. You want to know what I love about this? This is the part of him. This is what I mean. So his religious beliefs are all over the place, and I could spend a whole other show unpacking those things.
Yeah.
But it speaks to something about, the ego must die. And I'm like, yeah, he's spiritually going through something, because spiritually you're taught that in order for you to fulfill what your spiritual and your faithful requirements are, that you must kill your worldly ego.
Incredible writing job. It's so much in that song. And again, I think that's another record that if we get visuals for, it's just going to make the song bigger and more important. These, I would say actually, like I said, 4 of I gave Father Time a 5 out of 5. I gave Silent Hill 5 out of 5, Auntie's Diary. So I got 4 songs, 5 out of 5, right? 3 of those 4 is just because of the incredible writing job. And actually, you know what? There's another one I gave 5 out of 5. That's We Cry Together. Hold up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I gave 5 songs a 5 out of 5. And 4 out of that 5 is because of the incredible writing job. And so saying all that to say, these are songs that traditionally wouldn't be singles or have visuals in hip-hop music, urban music, unless Eminem wrote them, right? Like if Scarface makes Stan, it's not going to be a video. But I hope Interscope, being the machine that, Eminem's with as well, I hope out of some of these songs, they do put some visuals with. And I think Mother I Sober, if that gets some visuals, it'll be a classic for many people.
So I was saying it has a beautiful liberation type vibe as well.
Yeah.
That it's spoken word is really like, this is where I realize it's like, well, this is really set up full on to be a play, because this song, for as great as it is, it's going to play better in a stage performance live.
I think so too.
Even on record.
Kind of one mic like, right?
Yes, I said, well, once again, he hits you with this super strong ending to keep interest high before the scene changes, just like a play. The best verses on this album are all pretty much the third verses. Look at Mother I Sober, Auntie Diaries, even the other songs, Silent Hill, Crown, like all the best verses are the third one. And so like towards the end of this album, it's like, no, that's intentional because it's going to be visualized live in some sort of manner. Has to be.
I think the interesting part about that record too is the fact that, he's, especially in this climate, he's talking about not numbing the pain and dealing with the pain while being sober.
Yeah.
Where others talk about, being on the narcotic because of the pain. KC Polar says the only album that's going to matter is KD3. we'll talk about some of the albums of the year so far and what we got ahead too. I mean, I
Mhm.
think that right now we got to give Kendrick his credit. I mean, he dropped and his album matters.
But just see, that's what I mean. And I think there is a lot of this going on too. And this album is going to need some time to burn. And I'm going to tell you why it really is going to need some time to burn. It is about the break. If you love him and you're such a big fan of his and you haven't heard him in so long, of course you might be running around feeling it's a classic right now. Let it simmer. Like, remember how I felt when Nasir came out?
Yeah, gotta let it sit.
Man. And
But
it had
that's
been
kind of why we're back here today, really talking about it and unpacking it, because it's one of those albums that, because of how lyrically dense it is, we need to really sit with it over the weekend and at the top of the week and really come back and revisit it as opposed to listening to it the day of. And some people say we should do that anyway, but we don't get albums like this that come out every week. I mean, it just is what it is.
no, we don't get albums like this, but what I'm telling you is that, well, there's two parts to that coin. It's like we don't get albums like this because most people understand in order to get your album deemed as a classic, you need to be checking some fundamental hip hop boxes. And also, we don't have people creatively and artistically and writing wise as inclined as him to try to pull some of these feats off.